Imagine a scientist whose life and work seem more like fiction than reality, a man who broke through the limits of human consciousness and revealed extraordinary abilities. This is Jacobo Grinberg, a researcher ahead of his time, whose story is marked by a disappearance as mysterious as his life was fascinating. One day, without a trace, he vanished, turning his existence into one of the greatest enigmas of recent decades. Picture Mexico City in 1978. In a bustling southern area, a seemingly ordinary house hides secrets beyond understanding. Its large door, concealed by a plastic sheet, is the threshold to a world of mysteries. On the sidewalks, a line of hopefuls, some in chairs, others on crutches, all in search of answers that traditional medicine cannot provide. Here at Brain Outside the Box, we dive into the world's most curious and mysterious stories. Join us in exploring the extraordinary case of Jacobo Grinberg, a saga that crosses the borders between science and spirituality, reality and fiction. Continuing our exploration, we encounter a scene that defies the senses. Upon entering the second room, what stands out most is a foul odor, reminiscent of decaying organic matter, mixed with the pungent smell of medicinal alcohol. The scent of candle wax, emanating from an altar serving as the main source of light in the room, also permeates the air, an atmosphere heavy with mystery and questioning. The witness of this story sits in the room, closely observing the scene. Before her, a rustic wooden table is covered with a foam carpet, wrapped in clear plastic. The table functions as an improvised surgery room. Beside her, a lady around 70 years old, dressed in a kitchen apron, welcomes the first patient kindly, instructing him to lie down on the operating table. The first patient is a boy, brought in a wheelchair, completely immobilized due to an accident that fractured his vertebrae and severely damaged his spinal cord. The neural connection to his limbs was lost, leaving him paralyzed, despite several operations and the implantation of metal rods to support his back. Previous medical efforts had no effect. The boy is positioned face down on the table, and the woman requests cotton, alcohol, and a clean sheet, items each patient must provide. She lightly sanitizes the boy's back and then wields a large hunting knife, with which she makes a vertical cut of approximately 8 inches on his back, resulting in a copious flow of blood. Carefully, she begins to manipulate the knife's tip around the vertebrae. The witness watches in astonishment as the deep incision exposes the spinal column. The scene is shocking. A woman of simple appearance and without any aseptic protocol or anesthesia has opened the boy's back, who emits no complaint due to his condition of total paraplegia. He has no sensations from the neck down, but now his back is open and bleeding. The woman continues the procedure, further separating the tissue to expose the spinal column until the fracture is located. Then she asks an assistant to hand her a jar that could easily be mistaken for a jelly or mayonnaise container. She takes something from the jar and carefully places it on the patient's spine. With the knife's handle, she taps and presses the substance, apparently integrating it into the structure of the spine. Afterward, with a skillful hand movement, the wound begins to close. The assistants place their hands over the operated area in a procedure they call saturation, and surprisingly, the boy begins to move one of his legs. Finally, the patient is laid on the floor, wrapped in the sheet he brought, where he must rest for some time. Later, he will be taken home, where he must remain immobile for 3 days to recover. This unusual operation, carried out by an elderly woman with vision problems, could be seen as a fraud. However, the witness to these numerous operations was none other than Dr. Jacobo Grinberg, a doctor in psychobiology from the New York College of Medicine, and the one performing the operations was Barbara Guerrero, better known as Pachita, a Mexican shaman whose fame reached worldwide renown. But who was Jacobo Grinberg? Of Jewish-Mexican descent, Jacobo Grinberg was born on December 12, 1946 in Mexico City. From a young age, as reported by family members, he showed a special fascination with mental phenomena. Grinberg was an exceptional student at the National Autonomous University of Mexico, where he began his studies in physics. Although he had a solid foundation in physics and mathematics, during his academic journey, he was drawn to psychology. While studying psychology, Grinberg developed a deep interest in psychophysiology, a branch of psychology that aligns with neuroscience. This area explores the organic basis of human behavior and addresses themes such as the mind-matter interaction, psychological processes, behavior, experience, and consciousness. Grinberg developed the synergetic theory, postulating the existence of a continuous energy field, almost imperceptible to human beings. This theory, coupled with his research, led to speculations about a possible involvement of Grinberg with NASA in projects related to contact with extraterrestrial life. Aware of the existence of mental phenomena that transcended the limits of traditional science, Grinberg decided to explore them independently. At a meeting with Margarita López Portillo, the sister of the then president of Mexico, she invited him to visit the presidential house, an invitation that suggests recognition and curiosity about his research and theories. It was during this period that Grinberg met Barbara Guerrero, better known as Pachita, through Margarita Lopez Portillo. The conversation between them left such a positive impression on Grinberg that, a few days later, he was already at Pachita's house, witnessing her incredible abilities. This experience inspired Grinberg to publish one of his most popular books, Pachita, Mexican Miracle. In the introduction to this work, he justifies his decision to publish the book, a choice that for many risked his scientific prestige. Years ago, I had the fortune of meeting Pachita, absorbing her teachings, sharing her work, and accompanying her on her explorations. This extraordinary woman transformed my perception of reality and introduced me to a world full of magic and power. I witnessed a series of astonishing events and felt compelled to report these experiences with the greatest precision possible. This book is the fruit of that effort. In it, I describe what I saw exactly as it occurred, without alterations, with total honesty. Pachita was capable of performing miraculous feats, manipulating space-time and matter, materializing objects, performing organ transplants, diagnosing diseases, and healing hundreds of sick people who sought her out for help. After concluding his work with Pachita in 1988, Grinberg used his experience with the Mexican healer to develop one of his most significant theories, the synergetic theory. Subsequently, he dedicated himself to the study of the energy frequencies emitted by human beings during states of meditation. These frequencies, according to his research, can be measured and therefore scientifically verified. Grinberg's innovative approach, which sought to scientifically understand various metaphysical phenomena to which human beings are subject, caught the attention of the United States military agencies. These institutions made several proposals for Grinberg to work with them, but he consistently refused, remaining faithful to his principles and the independence of his research. Among the various studies conducted by Jacobo Grinberg, some of the most intriguing involved the interaction between mind and matter. His investigations ranged from analyzing and evaluating the paranormal abilities of sorcerers, yogis, and shamans, to training children with extrasensory capabilities. Telepathy was one of the topics that most fascinated Grinberg. He understood this phenomenon as the transmission of information between two brains separated by time and/or space. His synergetic theory proposed the existence of a comprehensive holographic matrix which he called the reticulum. In this informational field, everything is interconnected, forming a type of hyper-informative ether that our brains decode, resulting in what we perceive as reality. Another innovation of Grinberg's was his theory on dermo-optic perception, an extrasensory ability that he studied with Mexican children. Dermo-optics involves the capacity to read information without the need for physical contact, using sensors located at the fingertips. According to Grinberg's conclusions, the children were able to project their minds into the brain of another being, reading it as if dragging a hard disk to a computer. He planned to expand these studies to Tibet, where he intended to conduct workshops with children from that region. In December 1994, Jacobo Grinberg disappeared mysteriously and unexpectedly. What drew attention was the fact that Grinberg missed important commitments with his students and, surprisingly, did not attend his own birthday party. 2 days before a much-anticipated trip to Nepal, his wife Teresa tried to justify his absence by claiming an unexpected meeting in Campeche, something that caused surprise among the guests. Suspicions intensified when Teresa asked one of Grinberg's students to take care of the laboratory, a responsibility he would never delegate. Initially, those awaiting his return from Tibet supposed that his stay in the Himalayas had been extended. However, as the delay stretched from weeks to months, Grinberg's friends and family began to seriously worry. Numerous calls were made to Nepal and to the Indian embassy, but there was no information about Grinberg's whereabouts. There were not even records of him or his wife having left Mexico. Even after notifying the police and hiring private detectives, confirmation of his mysterious disappearance only came in May 1995. Media coverage of the case was scarce, often attributing the disappearance to Grinberg's eccentricity. On the other hand, a mix of conspiracy theorists and admirers of his work proposed various theories to explain his disappearance. Teresa, Grinberg's wife, was a central and enigmatic figure in the context of his disappearance. She may have been the last person to see him, and her explanations for her husband's absence in December were inconsistent and strange. On one hand, she justified the scientist's absence to his stepmother, claiming he had gone to Campeche. Days before the disappearance, Teresa withdrew a check and instructed the caretaker of their country house not to appear, claiming that Grinberg had gone to Guadalajara. Curiously, Teresa, who initially would accompany Grinberg on the trip to Nepal, was seen on December 24th at the house in Morelos with another woman. She collected kitchen utensils, clothes, and her dog, and then left. 5 days after the disappearance, Teresa informed the landlord of the apartment they rented in Mexico City that she would abandon the place. This decision surprised the landlord as there were still 3 months left on the lease agreement. These events added more mystery to the already complicated plot of Jacobo Grinberg's disappearance. Teresa's whereabouts remained a mystery until May 1995, when she appeared at an aunt's house in southern Tijuana. She stayed there for 2 weeks before, curiously, also disappearing. Subsequently, her family discovered that Teresa was married to Jacobo Grinberg, a fact she had never revealed to them. The constant contradictions and enigmatic behavior of Teresa raised suspicions about her possible direct involvement or complicity in Jacobo Grinberg's disappearance. Additionally, rumors emerged that the judicial police had found 2 bodies in an advanced state of decomposition, supposedly identified as Teresa and Jacobo. However, according to these versions, the officers had been bribed to conceal the discovery, adding another layer of mystery and speculation around this enigmatic case. Murder or kidnapping are some of the theories circulating around Grinberg's disappearance, with various entities being speculated as possible perpetrators. One hypothesis suggests possible intervention by United States intelligence agencies, such as the CIA or the FBI. According to this theory, after Grinberg refused to collaborate voluntarily with these agencies, they might have opted to kidnap him, possibly with the acquiescence of the Mexican government. The objective of this alleged kidnapping would be to take advantage of the knowledge and information accumulated by Grinberg throughout his research. These, in turn, would be used to advance agendas associated with these agencies, such as social manipulation and the development of psychotechnologies for military purposes. These speculations, although unconfirmed, reflect the level of intrigue and mystery that surrounds the case of Jacobo Grinberg's disappearance. One of the most extravagant conspiracy theories about Grinberg's disappearance involves the claim that, on December 7, 1994, the date of the last sighting of Grinberg, he and his wife were intercepted by 2 vehicles occupied by Caucasian men. According to this version, the men quickly subdued and took the couple while they were traveling from their home to the UNM laboratory. This narrative, however, contradicts reports that Teresa was seen on several occasions after that date and never mentioned such an incident. While some believe these men could be agents of the United States, the same story also serves as a basis for justifying the theory that the couple was abducted by the so-called Men in Black, a description often associated with the presence of aliens and referring to individuals of Caucasian appearance and tall stature. Another hypothesis about Grinberg's disappearance involves alleged disputes between him and the anthropologist and sorcerer Carlos Castaneda, as well as his followers. According to this theory, Castaneda might have played a role in Grinberg's disappearance, even leading to the possibility of having caused his death or holding him captive. However, there's no concrete evidence to support this claim, leaving it in the realm of speculation. This is yet another example of the various and sometimes bizarre theories that surround the mysterious case of Jacobo Grinberg. An alternative theory suggests that Grinberg might have chosen a type of spiritual self-exile, perhaps in pursuit of enlightenment or to explore transcendental truths. Some speculate that he could have intentionally withdrawn or even sent his body to another dimension as part of his spiritual journey. Reviewing Grinberg's life, work, and disappearance raises numerous questions, providing more mysteries than concrete answers. What is undisputed is that the legacy left by this researcher constitutes a valuable heritage, showing that science and spirituality can indeed coexist harmoniously. It is up to us to value the knowledge that Grinberg has left us, honoring the efforts of a scientist who dared to challenge paradigms in the name of the freedom provided by self-knowledge. What do you think happened to Jacobo Grinberg? We invite you to leave your comments on the video, share your ideas, and think outside the box. Until the next video, goodbye.